welcome you back for another preseason episode talking about the inside workings of the Harbor Hawks team. We talked to Coach a little bit ago, but now we bring on two of the men who are making the magic happen with the roster and the analytics. We bring in the Director of Baseball Operations, Mikey Lucario, and Cole Velis. Gentlemen, it's great to see you again. Maybe away from Cape, but virtually can do at this moment.
Yeah, virtually will play. It's good to see you, Jacob.
In quite a while.
I know it's been a little bit, and you guys were brought a lot of the magic last year, but you come back for the 2024 season. And can we say the team got a little stacked with you guys back with it, getting a second year under your belts, and you guys were already hard at work when we were still together on the Cape building up for this 2024 season.
Yeah, there's a lot of goes into it. I mean, we started, I think we got our first player signed in or at least verbally committed in late July last year, kind of getting ready to go for this summer. So yeah, man, it's exciting. We're excited to get back. I think, Mikey sent us a text yesterday saying we're 2 months away officially from opening day, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, and we're in a good spot. And, I think, I don't know, I'm just excited. The weather's warming up. It's good, man.
Yeah, I'm super amped. Everybody I've been talking to, I'm like, oh, we're finally getting going with like the real Harbor Hawks stuff, and it's been so long. And like I was at the concession stand at our game on Saturday for OU, and it's got the same like view of the field as you get at the Falmouth concession stand. I took my phone out, took a picture of it. I was like, I'm back here in 2 months.
You gotta love it. And you guys are maybe what makes it so special is the baseball analytics team and the baseball operations team. You guys are on the road with the team for the most part as well, which is one of the cool things, especially with how deep you guys run as a crew. It's almost bringing a full fan base with you whenever Hyannis is on the road. Can you talk about that culture that you guys have within your department, that home or away, whether you need to be there or don't, you guys are going to be a fan section while also still bringing in that analytic piece and bringing in that baseball operations piece?
Yeah, I think that's super important. We learned that last summer as being part of that intern group, just how like being that connected, it helps you. Obviously, it like you all have energy and you're all feeding off each other at that game, but it also helps in, your work because you're all connected and you know each other really well, and it kind of helps you be more comfortable when discussing, hey, what do we think of this player? And you have some comfort, and if you disagree, then it's okay to like air that out and be like, no, I'm not okay with that. And that's something we kind of preached to the interns that we brought in for this summer when we were going through the hiring process. We were talked about a lot, like you said, we go to all the road games, we're engaged 24/7. It's every day is Hawks baseball. But I think having that culture, like you said, is super important to us.
Yeah, I think it's pretty special too. I think this year we've got like a new group of 11 interns coming in. We've got ourselves, our assistant GM Mazak Darvari is coming back too, which is great. So like you said, like that squad rolls deep. These are, and it's funny too. Like I think a lot of people usually have your summer internship and you're doing 40 hours, 9 to 5, and that's kind of getting you ready for the work world. Where it's, the 40 hours comes at the games, and then you've got a whole nother 30 going on outside of that, 20, maybe 10, on a light week. And so it's cool to kind of distribute that amongst, 11 people, who all kind of want the same thing, right? They all have the same dream there. And you get so invested in what we're doing. Like Mikey said, I mean, there were nights where it's 1, 2 in the morning and we're making like matchup runways for the bullpen to see, against, which handed pitcher should we go with, which bench bat and vice versa. I don't know, man. Like it truly is a special thing to kind of be around those people every day.
And you touched upon it right there. I think what the Boston Globe even talked about it themselves when they came in to do a piece on Hyannis is understanding the emergence of analytics within the Cape, and Hyannis has been on the forefront of this conversation and on the forefront of this revolution that is starting to come now to Cape Cod. And both of you two are a big reason to thank of how you guys have started to preach that within both your interns as well, but also understanding that with getting your general manager, Nick Dotson, on board with this, as well as his devotion to the analytics, but also getting the right coaching staff in as well to understand that analytics is the way of the future here on the Cape, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch and the staff we brought in with Coach Riley and Tanner Kuna, the pitching coach, has been, pretty exciting. So we have kind of a good thing going with them already, and we haven't even gotten to shake their hands yet. So, but yeah, I think like you said too, Nick Johnson is kind of the kingpin of preaching, our process and finding guys who maybe are a mid-major bandit, as we always say. Like those are the guys who are not going to have every team, battling for a contract over. Like you have your guys like John Gassar from Austin P, who's like been a terrific player for us, and should be coming back for, this upcoming summer. So it's
Wow,
cool.
look at this. We're getting a little bit of a
Yeah.
roster reveal here. John
Yeah.
Gassar.
Not
back in
to
the
spoil any beans. Not to spill any beans, but I think people really took to him too, just because he's an unbelievable dude beyond being a really, really, really good shortstop. So yeah, not to spoil too much, but yeah, he'll be back. But yeah, I think the analytics runs pretty deep. And we try not to get overly indulged, right? I think a lot of the time the baseball kind of gets lost if you kind of stick your head in there and can drown a little bit. But I think we do a really nice job of blending both. And that's kind of Nick Johnson at the top of his the preacher. So
Yeah, for sure. We talked a lot about, the blend of analytics and operations preseason when me and Cole were figuring out, like how do we want to recreate this team to have it work just as well as it did last year. And I think a lot of what we established was, a lot of the cool, analytical coding stuff is really cool, but like Cole said, sometimes you get lost in it. And so it's really good to have a group of people that are like smart and know their numbers, but also have really good sense for the game and, like what makes a baseball player and not like, what numbers make a baseball player.
and
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it's
too, like you go ahead, Jacob. Sorry.
no, it's the great conversation that everyone's having across the major leagues right now is death by immersion. Like you're immersed in so many stats and you're immersed in the RPM, immersed in all this other stuff, but then how are you able to separate that at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think too, we talk about like we do a lot of we've had some really, really, really brilliant people on our staff last year and should have or I know we have a lot of brilliant people coming this year as well. Mikey and myself, I hope included. So,
I
I
don't
think
know. I don't know. Are you sure about that, guys?
I try to be as sharp as I can. But no, we do a lot of modeling too in applications like R and Python, right? You can put together these models. They're really good at, that are predictive, right? That are can tell us, how likely a pitch is to have a swing and miss, and generate kind of an output that's going to tell us, something beneficial to inform our decision making. I know Jacob Hahn is now doing an internship with the Mariners this summer, but he was he did some exceptional work last year with some of his models, as well as, Johnny Davis's time in Hyannis was truly special. But I mean, those are really, really informative and important in informing the baseball decisions that are going to create what we call intern war. It's like, how can we positively impact the game with not only the creation, but ultimately the application of the model, right? And that not only goes for modeling, but scouting reports, informed decision making. So we're giving the coaching staff all the tools to be like, hey, here are the players, here's the car itself, and here's what's under the hood. And kind of making sure they kind of know all the pieces because they're great baseball minds too. And if you kind of can create all those models, make all the tools, and lay them out in a way that helps, like that's how you're going to generate something that is beneficial for not only evaluating the players that are going to be out there, but making sure that they're the most ready to go that they can be. And hopefully that continues to breed a winning culture and we get a little ring on our fingers as a result.
Everyone's looking for that little bit of ring. May I just say, maybe we need to post it, but intern war, might be the next great stat that I think we might need to figure out whether. I think we can get a model for that, guys. We got enough smart guys over there. I think we can start breaking down the Excel sheet there a little bit and start figuring out the intern war for Hyannis. I'm just saying.
There's enough brain power. There is totally a way you could do it. It just would take some cohesive thinking and coming together. There's a way you could do it, but yeah, I mean that's a good phrase. Mikey and I joke about that all the time.
I love it. I think it's great, and it represents what Hyannis is and how much they value interns like ourselves, but being a part of the organization and understanding that while we may be college students, we also still have a voice within our departments, and we come in. We like to think we're somewhat pretty good at what we do, or we wouldn't be where we are for some point. For you, Cole, you're playing college baseball. Mikey, you're at the Division I level with OU. So like both of you guys have resumes yourselves that speak.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, we get all these kids from such different backgrounds. You know, Mikey and myself, obviously I'm playing Division III baseball at Babson, and like, yeah, it's just to hear, Mikey's day to day at OU, and then to kind of know what I'm going through as a player. It is nice to kind of call each other, every other week or so, catch up, and kind of have these different lives going on that both are so rooted in the game of baseball that when you come together and think about it together, it makes for an interesting conversation, especially this time of year. So yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about our summer last year and looking forward to this upcoming summer is I feel like everybody that we worked with has a different background within baseball. Like Cole said, obviously he's playing, I'm doing, analytics stuff here, and then we have like people like Han who are super into the modeling at a school like Rice, and we had interns who were like sports psychology people at D1, and people who pitched at the D1 level and are now wanting to go into coaching. And I mean, we have, people who don't really have a lot of baseball background, but they have a lot of the analytics background. And so I think it's really cool to be able to bring all these different kind of people together in Hyannis. And it's, everyone's coming from a different background, but we're all here for the same thing, and we're all trying to achieve the same thing. Like Cole said, get that ring on our finger at the end of the summer. So
Yeah, everyone's shooting for it, and everyone's shooting to be that last team standing when it comes time in August. So we talked about intern war, but is there a stat right now that you are really liking? Maybe that's a hidden stat. Maybe it is just OBP. I'm a sucker for an OBP. Like if anyone watched any broadcast last summer, they would understand that I'm a big emphasis on your on-base percentage. But is there a stat from either of you two that you think has a little bit of an increased meaning, one on the Cape or two in how you're evaluating a player?
For me personally, I mean, there's so much that's baked into like the evaluation process, right? Like there's so many different people could have such similar, profiles, and you kind of get under the hood and you look at, what do they do against breaking balls? What do they do against velocity? What do the, in zone contact rates look like, right? So when the pitch is actually within the bounds of the strike zone, are they swinging missing? Do contacts rate jumps with two strikes? There's so many things that come into, that are baked into the evaluation process. But I mean, if I had to pick one stat that was like the end all be all, or at least right now, I think it's so lame, but weighted on base average WOBA is like kind of.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's just so like it's like I don't know. It is great, but I think I don't know. I've been a weird sucker for batting average against recently too. Not that it's been like weighted heavier in any of my evaluations or my scouting reports or anything, but we have all the opponent statistics posted in our dugout during games. And for whatever reason, I find myself looking at their batting average against for our opponents recently. So I guess to get off the kind of beaten path, I'll go with batting average against because it's in right now in my head for whatever reason.
Mikey?
Yeah. Last like week or two, we've been doing a lot of hunting for pitchers. So I've been looking at big thing for me lately has been like ground ball rates versus fly ball rates for arms. Because our whole thing in Hyannis is we're gonna play super good defense, and think if we can get guys who get a lot of ground balls, then that kind of like plays into exactly what we want. So I've been kind of on the hunt for that, but also just kind of like not a really specific stat, but generally like pitch shape, especially like fastball shape, because we've been playing, I think we had two series, 8 or so games in the last 2 weeks at school. And just like while running track, man, I've been trying to pay attention to like, what kind of pitch shapes these guys have. Because I asked one of our interns the other day, I was like, can you get me like the 75 most unique pitches in college baseball based on like shape and spin and whatever? And so ever since I asked him for that, I've been really leaning into looking for guys with like special or unique pitch shapes. So that's been mine for the last couple of weeks.
Way more elegant
Can
answer,
you,
by the way.
yeah, yeah. Come on, Cole. Come on, buddy. Like, let's
Way,
take it
way,
up a
way
notch.
better done. Yeah. Hats off. That was good.
But for Mikey, maybe break down what pitch shape is for maybe the fan that doesn't know necessarily what pitch shape is, so that they can get a better understanding of what you're talking about.
Yeah, so when I talk about pitch shape, it's really looking at the big thing is your differential break, which is the difference between your horizontal break moving laterally and then your induced vertical break going up and down, obviously. And so like on if I'm looking at a fastball profile and I see a guy who's got like 22 inches of IVB or induced vertical break and 5 inches of horizontal break, you're like, wow, like that's got a lot of ride. And those are the kind of guys that like to like live at the top of the strike zone and throw that high fastball all the time. And those are guys, who get like a lot of fly balls. Or if you're looking at, if you hear people talk about like a sinker, that's, super high horizontal break and a lower vertical break. So that way, when you let it out of your hand, it just dies off to the side. But yeah, when I talk about pitch shape, it's really who's got big differential break. And then it's also, just visually, like you watch a guy's slider and you can see like, wow, like the break on that is really sharp and it dies super quick.
Yeah.
I bet that's like hard to handle. Or you see a guy who's got, if you watch someone's changeup and it's really like soft and it just kind of floats in there almost like it's a curveball. You can match how those shapes play off of each other and really get into a guy's arsenal. And you can see, yeah, these pitchers are really cool individually, but they also work really well together. And, it kind of leads you to see why people are successful.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it. Look at that. So eloquently stated, Mr. Velis. Look at that.
It is.
You got
It
a great,
is.
you
I
got
mean,
a
I'm
great
jealous
director
of
with
you.
you.
I know, right? How lucky am I? I'd be a lost one man ship.
I'd be a lost one man. I love it. But the two of you together makes a great team. You guys are also, if you don't get enough of you guys at the ballpark, you guys are also living together this summer in maybe a stacked house. You got our sideline reporter at Coates. Mazdak is back with you as well. That is going to be quite an intern house. You're going to have some late nights looking at some scouting reports, I have to imagine.
Well, the best
Yeah.
is if you can get it up on the Apple TV where you get everybody in the living room. I remember, when last summer, Mike and I didn't live together. We lived down the street, but I can't imagine we spent less than 23 hours a day together. So, there was times where even like, I know we brought up John earlier. There were nights where Mikey, myself, and a handful of other interns were like screenplaying John synergy on the Apple TV and doing like full breakdowns and cutting video to send to the coaching staff to let them like, this is the shortstop we're bringing in. So hopefully to many more of those kind of late nights doing all that stuff. Those are what you do it for, man. Those are cool nights.
Yeah. I like very vividly remember we deemed it John night. And it was me, Cole, and Han. We just got back from getting dinner and we're watching the like live stream of his last California collegiate game before we made the call to get him out to Hyannis. And it's like, that kind of stuff is, it's you go home and that's like the memory that you have. And I'm super excited to live with those guys.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. Now we finished up with Coach last time. We're gonna do this or that. We're gonna do this or that again, and they might be some of the same questions. We'll find out pretty quickly for you guys. All right, let's go. Sandals or Crocs?
Sandals.
Crocs.
Ooh,
Whoa,
definitely
different.
sandals.
Bad take.
Oh no,
Crocs all the way.
it's good. You need like peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly,
The
exactly.
same, man.
Okay.
It's going to be different.
Okay, now let's go. Mac or PC?
Mac.
PC.
Oh, all right.
Gosh,
Okay.
all right. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
I'm gonna lean sweet, but the best is sweet and salty together.
I agree with that. I'm a big like bacon, egg, and cheese, but on like a sweet bagel. Like that's my jam. So yeah, I like what he said. A little bit of both. Is that allowed in this game or?
That's allowed. That's allowed. We're making the rules as we fly here, man.
That's fine by me.
Vacation or staycation?
Staycation.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go staycation.
Wow. All right. And now we'll do chocolate or vanilla.
Chocolate all day.
Also chocolate. Yeah.
Okay, now we're starting to align. Look
Yeah,
at
we're
this.
good.
We start at the pyramid of disagreement, and now we're starting to move towards similarities. Look at this. And now this should be the easiest question. I gave it to Coach. He did not answer it the way I thought he would. And as the commissioner of this game, I was not happy with his answer. Let's go. Beach or mountains?
Dude, I saw the interview irons. I'm so sorry. I gotta go mountains.
Oh
Beach.
my gosh.
It's not even close.
No,
Beach.
Stop. This is ridiculous. You work on a beach all summer.
I'm so with you.
It's
no
not for
twist
me.
about it.
This is ridiculous. Well, maybe we can turn them this summer, Cole. As Cole
I hope so, man.
And Mikey Lucario will be back in Hyannis this summer, leading the baseball operations teams. Cole, Mikey, thank you guys for taking a little bit of a random Tuesday out of your busy schedules to sit down and talk a little Harbor Hawks with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I miss you.
Always a joy to talk to you.
Yes, we will talk soon. And that will do it for this episode. Stay locked on all of the Harbor Hawks socials and YouTube page for more preseason content.